The market chops around, pushes slightly lower, then rallies at the end of the day. Are we still looking for wave 2? This is Invest with Jacob. Okay, guys, so in yesterday's video, we talked about the fact that we would expect the market to possibly push a little lower, but ultimately give us some kind of bounce before the next leg down. And today we saw a chop fest with a little bit of a push lower and then a rally at the close. So the question is, do we still expect a bounce before we move down? I'll get into that in just 1 second. But first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP 500 and the Nasdaq. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. Okay, 2 quick notes, guys. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, I will be out all of next week, but I will still try to get a couple videos up. I can't make a promise as to what days, but I will still try to get a few videos out. And also, right when the market closes, I'm putting up TikTok videos with a market minute that kind of recaps the day and answers a lot of questions that you guys ask in the comments section of these videos. So check that out and go over to TikTok for our market minute updates. All right, for now, let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are on the 1-hour chart for the S&P 500 futures, and we talked about this yesterday. There's really no structure on the way down. No matter what time frame you go down to, you get this long red bar to start the move down and not a lot of structure. So we are basically using Elliott Wave levels and understanding of length of waves and key levels to kind of define what we're looking for right now until the market gives us a little bit more structure. So we're starting to see what we thought we would see, a little bit of a push lower, as I said, down toward that trend line. They pierced it and then pushed hard off of it with a really strong rally at the close, and now they've kind of been chopping around right at where that rally ended. The path basically remains the same, our primary path, and that is we are looking for a continuation up here to the 40.50 to 40.80 area. Now, these levels did move up just a little bit because yesterday I had my zero right here down at about 3,900 because I thought they might push a little lower than they did. So the levels are a little bit higher, but it's the 40.50 to 40.80 areas where we'd look for a bounce to wave 2, and then we would look for a move down from there and a strong sell-off towards the 36.50 area. A few things to note, something I didn't mention yesterday that I should have. When we make the low, like we did here at 39.29.50 or 39.30, wherever it bottomed, when we make this low, the move up, the structure will tell us what we're looking at. We should see a corrective structure if it's going to be this wave 2, and we should see an impulsive 5-wave structure if it's going to be either this red C or that orange C up around 4,400. I don't believe that either C wave is going to play out, but if I start to see a 5-wave structure off of the low, I will adjust my count to one of these 2 C waves higher. So far, we don't have enough off of this low to tell us if we have a clean 5-wave structure or not. They're still trying to build it. And so once we get more filled out to the upside here, we'll know better. But I am expecting a corrective move, especially based on what I'm seeing on the Nasdaq, which we'll look at in just a minute. So a few things to note. We don't really have a wave 4. So you could say, hey, we could get a wave 4 up to around 40.20 and then another move down in wave 5 towards around that 3,900 area that I mentioned yesterday, and then see wave 2. The issue I have with that, and the reason I don't think that's likely to be the case, is this trend line here is pretty important. And you can see that. I'm going to turn on my volume for just a second. And what you can see, guys, is they got close to it at the close on Tuesday, and we had a monster candle where they defended and pushed it back up a little bit. They actually touched it one time today, and we had a huge intraday candle, almost as big as the closing candle and bigger than the open candles of almost any of the days prior. And then they did actually pierce through it at the close, and you got another big candle up where they defended it and rallied up out of there. So they know that this trend line is very important and that this area is very important. And I think that once we lose this trend line, there won't be another bounce back up to the 40.20 area. So I don't think that we're going to see a wave 4 or 5 and then a bounce in 2. I think that what we're seeing here is likely to be the wave 2 up that we see. Unless, of course, like I said, we see a 5-wave move up, and then we'll have to adjust our counts. But again, I think that's highly unlikely, especially based on the Nasdaq action. So our primary count, still looking for that bounce to 40.52 to 40.81, and then a sell-off down to the 36.50 area. Now, if they continue to sell down here and don't give us any kind of bounce, and they break this trend line, this 38.37 is kind of a confirmation level. Okay, I think once they break the trend line and probably this low right here that we just had at 39.29, if they break that low in the trend line, I think it's probably we're gone. But confirmation comes at 38.37, which is the 764 of A and B, which would tell us that we're likely already deep in wave 3 of C and moving downward. So if we break the trend line in this low, I'd say that's probably a good marker that we're heading lower, but confirmation down here at 38.37. Okay, over on the Nasdaq, not quite the same, because the Nasdaq here in the early morning made a new low below Tuesday's low, and they did not make another new low like the ES did here. And what you have is very corrective action off of the low that they did make. So it is very unlikely that either C wave would play out in that case. And I don't think we are going to come down and make a low and then try to come back up again. I think the bounce needs to happen now. So very corrective action here, which tells me it's more likely wave 2 and going to be in this 12.530 to 12.640 area. And again, this is a little bit higher than the targets in yesterday's video because I planned on them to push a little lower than they did. They only made a 2-point lower low or a 50-cent lower low. It wasn't a lot. And I expected them to come down a little further than that towards this 11.866 area and then bounce and come back in a test of the trend line and retake over it. So they didn't do that. So our numbers right now as it stands are the 12.534 and 12.642 area for a wave 2 bounce. Now the selling's been strong and the move is strong, and occasionally when that happens, okay, on both charts, you can get a 382 that is a wave 2, okay? Typically that's a wave 4 target, but sometimes when you see strong buying or selling, the wave 2 comes up short of its target and only gets to the 382, and then we see the wave 3 down or up, depending on which way we're going. In this case, it's down, but the 382 at 12.292 is an area that I would watch as well for a pretty strong reversal. And if they break this trend line, I think it's pretty well going to be over. But their confirmation on the Nasdaq is 11.601. So I think a break of the trend line is the first confirmation that we're heading lower, but the true confirmation will be 11.601 on a direct move lower. Guys, if you like the information that I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link. It will take you right over to my website. Once you get there, check out my membership plans area. We have 2 incredible plans, and they both come with a 7-day free trial because I want you to get in there, make sure you love it, and make sure you're part of our trading team before you ever spend a penny. You can cancel at any time. We have 2 incredible rooms. In the first room, my Invest with Jacob room, you get all of my real-time market updates, all of my buy and sell alerts, as well as all of your Elliott Wave questions answered. We trade the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing trade, which means our trades can last anywhere from a few days to a few months, so we don't trade quite as often as a day trading room does. However, if you are interested in day trading as well as individual stocks, you need to check out PT's Throne Room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as individual stocks, day trading, and PT's reduced risk binary method that absolutely crushes the market. He gets you in at a very small price and gets you huge multiples on your money based on how he structured the trade. It's very unique, and you kind of have to see it to understand it, which is another reason we give you that 7-day free trial. He also started a challenge account where he put $4,000 into a small account and trades it using mini ES futures, averaging 3 to 4% gains per week, showing you how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, we'd love to have you in these rooms so we can make some money together. Okay, key takeaways for today. The bulls need to continue to push up out of here. Over 39.90 is a strong indication that we are going to try to make this push up in wave 2 towards this 40.50 to 40.80 area. Again, sometimes you can get a 3.82 retrace as a wave 2 in stronger environments like this one. So we might want to keep our eyes on 40.23 as well. Over on the Nasdaq, again, we're looking for them to continue the push higher. We'd like to see them push over 12.292 to indicate that we are starting this move up in wave 2. And we would target the 12.534 to 12.642 region before seeing a sell-off from there. But again, that 382 at 12.426 is one to keep your eye on as well. Guys, that is the market update for today. I will talk to you tomorrow.